I look at you and it's easy
Hello,
to
welcome
see.
back to my channel. Okay, so in this video I'll be showing you how I drafted for this multiple hole Princess Dart Bustier, and in the next video I'll be showing you how I put it all together. Stay tuned. Okay, so now the drafting part, I've labeled out some parts of already. This is the armhole line, the bust line. The bust line is 1.5 below the armhole line. And for the armhole line, to calculate for your armhole is the bust itself divided by 6 plus 1.5 plus 1. That is how to calculate for the armhole. And the bust line is 1.5 inches below the bust line. That is after you calculated this, you just come down by 1.5 to get your bust line. This works for everybody. Also, I have my underbust. Basically, you just have to take the measurement of the underbust on your line. And I have my front line and my back line. How I got my front line and the back line was to tie the top length. That is the part I want my top to get to. Okay, I tied that region. I measured from the shoulder to that tied part, and I measured the back too from that region to the tie back. And my front length, I had 18, while the back length, I had 16.5. That's a difference of 1.5. Okay, moving forward, the next thing I'll be putting here now is going to be my bust point. That's the popular called nipple to nipple point. My nipple to nipple, to calculate for your nipple to nipple, is always the bust divided by 10. Anybody, it works like that. So it's the bust divided by 10. I'm working with the bust 34. That's 3.4. So I'm just going to put the bust measurement here and also on the front length. Okay, then I'll just connect it with my ruler. 3.4. Okay. Now, there's something called the underbust tightening. This underbust tightening varies for human individuals. So for a slim person, the underbust tightening is 0.5 to the left. That is to the smaller part now. Let me not use the word left because it can vary. It can be on your right, depends on where you're putting your front. I chose to put my front here. You can tend to put yours here. It varies. So on the smaller part now, it will be 0.5, while on the larger part, it will be 1 inch. Then for a moderate person, you're going to have to use 0.5 also on the small part and 1.2 on the larger part. Then for a fat person, you use 0.7 on the small part and 1.5 on the larger part. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing. This is for the underbust tightening. Let me just call it that, underbust tightening. So that's exactly what I'll be doing here now. Just going to put 0.5 and I'll take 1 inch. Oh, sorry, before that, you have to do your opening. Sorry. You have to do this first. Okay, then it's after that you're going to do the underbust tightening. I beg your pardon. So I'm going to take it after this line. The half inch is going to be after this line. Is it showing? It's going to be after this line. Okay, so on this side, so it's going to be after that first dart. I'll be taking my 1 inch opening. Okay, then I'll be connecting with my pattern master like this. On this part, I will not let it get to this point entirely, so that it will not have a sharp curve. Just going to leave it an opening of about 0.2, and I'll open it like this. Then here is coming entirely to this part. Okay, it's coming entirely to this part. I'm using this thick ink so you can see, and here is coming all the way down. Okay, coming all the way down like that, not from the sharp end. Now, but here is not going to come down. I'm going to be leaving out a 0.5 here. I'll mark out a 0.5 on this point, and I'll connect it down. Okay, I mark out 0.5 and connect like this. Now, it's not the same thing for everybody. For a slim person, is 0.5 for that third opening, and for this person too is 0.5. While for this person is 0.7. So basically, it's what you use on the smaller part you use here. And now, who is a slim person? A slim person is someone that has post 32 to 35. So it's a function of the bust. It was 32 to plus 75. While a moderate person can classify as someone that has it was 36 to 30 to 39. While a fat person is someone that has the post 40 above. Okay, so this is who you classify as a slim person or moderate or a fat person. I hope that is clear. So moving forward, I am done with this part of my pattern drafting. Next thing I'll do is to put my shoulder measurement. My shoulder is 16, that is 8. That is 8 inches. Okay, I'll just connect it like so. Then I'll mark out my desired neckline. I'm doing the multiple keyhole neckline, so I'll be using a smaller neckline. So I'll be using 3 by 3 inches for my neckline. Okay, then I'll be doing a shoulder slope of 1 inch. So a shoulder slope of 1 inch, and also at the back, I'll take my shoulder measurement 8 inches down here. 8 inches. I see why people use this mark. And also 3 inches, but I don't want the depth of the back to be too much, so I'll be using 1.5 for that. But at the back, I'll be taking a shoulder slope of ½ inch. Okay, because the back and the front is not the same. Okay, then I'll just use this one to curve my neckline. Right. Okay, the same way I'll be putting a dart at the back, also using the principle of the bust divided by 10. So I'm still going to be using 3.5 here. Now note, when I was taking the measurement here, I took it in this direction. When you're taking on this part, you take it in this direction, just the way I did here. So the armhole has to face each other on this part. Okay, so now I'll also take my bust of 3.5. It's actually 3.4, but it's safe to use 3.5. So and connect. Okay, now you see that when I was taking it, I didn't come to the armhole line. It's not going to get to your armhole line. You can take about 2 inches below the armhole line to insert that. Okay, I'm just going to connect it like so. Then I'll do the opening of 1.5, 1.5 for my draft. I'll be using the Princess Dart also at that point. Okay, so now the next thing to do is to start inputting my body measurement. The bust I'm using is 34. 34 divided by 4 is 8.5. So I'll put in 8.5 here. And the waist is 30. 30 divided by 4 is 7.5. So 7.5 is what I'll be using here. But because I'm opening, I have an opening here, I'll be adding up that value. It's 1 inch. So I'll be adding in that value of 1 inch back into here. And this is what I'm going to be having for the back. Okay, so 8.5 here and 7.5. This 7.5 is 7. This 1.5. What's it? 7.5 goes here. Okay, then whatever it is that is going out of here, you're going to have to return it here. I have 1.5 shortage, so I have to put it back into this place. Okay, so I'm just going to use it like that. Don't mind that your pattern is looking slanted. If you feel it's too slanted, you can just add extra here. Okay, but at the end of the day, you have to take it out. You have to note whatever it is that your extra is. Is it half? Yeah, this is half. So you just put like a minus 0.5 here, so that you know by the time you are doing your fitting, your joining, you have to remove it. By the time this all clumps close together, it's going to be obvious that it's an excess here. Okay, so now the next thing to do is to mark my armhole. For my armhole, I'm going to divide what is here by 2. I have 7. So I'll just going to divide it by 2 like this. Okay, and I will go in on that point by 0.7, and I will connect it with my armhole ruler. Let's just connect it with my armhole ruler, making sure the 3 dots are touching here, here, and here. Those 3 dots should touch. Okay, so all right, and the same thing I'm going to do here, but this time around I'm not dividing this one by 2. I'm just going to divide whatever the answer I got from this part, that's the armhole line, upwards, that's 3.5, is what I'm just going to transfer here, and I will go in by 0.5, not 0.7. Okay, so then I'll just mark it. Also connect the 3 dots together. Should in case your 3 dots are not connecting, it's fine. You can break it into 2. You can connect here first, then you connect the other one next. So it's also fine to work that way. Okay, so now I'm done with the basic bodies. Now I'm done with the bustier. The next thing to do is to fix in my Princess Dart. Okay, the Princess Dart itself. So what I will do is I'll connect this part. Okay, you know, I left a little opening here. I'll connect this part to where it makes sense here. There's not really a measurement to that thing. It could be above the midpoint, it could be below, just where it has a slight curve, not a sharp curve. So you can use a broken line to do that at first and check, okay, am I okay with what I have here? Okay, it's looking a bit curvy, and that's not what I want. So tracing it out, I know already what to trace out. You can see the way I did it out now. Okay, that is how to get your Princess Dart. Now, the next thing I'll do, which is applicable to any human being, is to come down from that point by 1 inch. From wherever this first point gets you to, you come down below that point by 1 inch, okay? And you also take it to the second curve here. Take it to the second curve, making sure it's smooth. You don't want to have sharp edges, okay? Like this. Okay, so after which you also have to shoot out by extra 1 inch. You shoot it out by extra 1 inch, because if you do not, by the time you measure here to this nipple point, to the bust point, you see I have 8.2, and if I should measure here, I have 7.2. You can see it has a shortage of 1 inch. So if I should go ahead and join my fabric like this, it's going to go in, which will make me want to cut out. And by the time you cut out, it's going to affect the armhole itself. So I'm just going to go upwards, like in a way that it blends in by 1, like so. You can see. Then you connect it back into the initial armhole. Okay, so meaning now I don't need this anymore. I won't be cutting out this anymore. All right, for the back, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to curve it in a way that makes sense. You can turn your paper, as far as you're comfortable, you can turn your paper around like so. You connect it like this, okay? Then you can come down by half inch. This coming down is not really compulsory, but so that you don't have something too tight here. That's why I prefer to just come down by half inch here. Okay, then you just connect it into it like so, so that it will separate this line a bit. Okay, and you see that, so that it separates here a bit. It doesn't form like a peplon around that part. Okay, and also you will go up by half inch. You don't want to have shortage on your dress at any point, and that's why you are doing pattern drafting. It helps you eliminate all form of shortage or problem. So then I'll just fold this in as well, and I don't have a need for this anymore. So these are the lines I'm going to be cutting. Now, another thing I'll be putting here now is my bust start. I said the difference between my front and my back is 1.5. So whatever the difference is, even if you are doing half length, you know this is like the top. If you are doing like a half length and you have a difference, you whatever it is at all, it could be 1.5, but the highest you can go is 3 inches. So for this is 1.5, it could be as low as 1 inch. So from that bust line, I will come down by whatever the difference is. In this case, it's 1.5. Okay, I'm coming down by that 1.5, and I'll take the line into the bust line. That's the bust point itself, like this, vertically. And this is called the bust. Okay, that is the bust that. At this point, I'm almost done, other than creating my keyhole. Now, I want a back effect. I want the top to pull down. From here, I'll just determine how low do I want it. Okay, this is 6 inches. I think 6 inches is just fine. So I'll just like pop here. No, you can use a ruler to just create that loop on it. Now this depends on how really deep you want the cuff to be. Okay, just come all the way down like that. Then you connect your line, you make it come down. Okay, connect your leg like that. Okay, just connect your lines like that. Now, at this point as well, you have to check for shortage. Because if you check this line, it's not a straight line. Definitely, one part is going to be longer than the other. So to avoid shortage, you measure. What do I have here? I have here almost 4. Okay, let me use from number 1. So I have here 3 points, almost 4, like I said. So and when you check here, you see I have 3 exactly. And that means it has to get here for the line to meet. So what I will do is I will first this line here, then I will reconnect it into my initial line, then I will draw out this. Okay, so meaning I don't have a need for this one anymore. So when I'm cutting this one, I will cut. If you do not do this, you're going to have a shortage. Your lines will not be meeting at that point. So it's compulsory you do that. Okay, so we're almost done with our pattern drafting. The last thing to do now is to curve the multiple holes. Okay, now before I start, okay, I can just go ahead. Now you determine how many holes you want to have on your outfit. Okay, maybe 1 inch is what you need. You just create. Sometimes you can't even use up to 1 inch. You just like create. Okay, what is the depth you want? Maybe you want it to be like 2 inches deep. Let's start from that. You just create that line first. 2 inches deep is what we want. Okay, you want your line to be like this. First, you create that line.
Okay, so I was just trying to, you can decide to make it up to like 1 inch. You can just curve it in, but I don't want mine to be that. So I'm just going to start from the very end. And at the middle, that's the midpoint of the 2 inches, I'll go in by half. I just curve in. I'm so sorry. My hand is covering the larger part of this. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. But I hope you really understand. Then from there, I'll take a spacing and just curve out another circle. Just be intentional about it. So that's it. I made about 4 holes on this. Just left a space and create more holes. So that's just it. About that, I made 1, 2, 3, 4. Of that. So after which I proceeded into cutting. In the cutting, look at the way I'm cutting out the basque first into the Princess Dart Bustier. Mind you, I didn't cut out the circle that I created. I'm still going to cut it, but not now. So just cut out the neckline normally. Okay, so and on the second part is the one that I went down that I'm cutting, and the new armhole line, that's what I'm cutting. And I made a mistake here as well. I was just trying to finish up the video and it skipped my mind that I'm supposed to have covered my that. It's at this point I realized that oops, I'm supposed to have included that, but it's still correctable. I'll just set it aside and you see how I corrected it later, since it's still on my pattern, so I could easily just correct it. And for the back, there's nothing much to do. It's just to cut out all the patterns, the neckline, the shoulder slope, the armhole, the Princess Dart line, and that is just it about that. So how I corrected this was to put another fabric and just join it straight like this, and I just cut it out. I was supposed to have done that before cutting out this piece. I just used my masking tape to